Hello guys and welcome to my YouTube channel. Australia has been preferred as one of the best destinations for studies by most international students. But of late there has been a lot of visa refusals for international students, and this has spiked a lot of fear among the international students as well as the education providers, that is universities and the colleges. And this is as a result of the government new policies to bring down the immigration levels to what it was before the COVID. But before that, there has been a lot that has been going on. And before you take that pen and paper to do any application for the university or any college in Australia, it is worthy noting some of these things and what are some of the targeted areas by the immigration department. And without wasting much time, let's look into this issue into much deeper and see exactly what is happening. So please, let's get into this article and see exactly how the figures look like and what you need to know before you do any other application, because knowing where the problem is and what the issues are, it's gonna help you to make informed decisions and to approach your application at the right angle. Now, let us look at this article by the ISEP Monitor, which was published last month, that 1st of January. And from its title, you can see visa approval rates declining for some students as new immigration settings take effect. Now, from here, you can see almost 1 in 5 study visa applications were refused in the first half of Australia's fiscal year, a higher rate of refusal than in the past 3 years. Now, when you look at this point, the immigration officials are using new policy settings to turn away non-genuine students. Now, let's go, scroll down and see what this means now. Who is getting turned away? It's very important to understand this point, because if you go ahead and do your application without exactly understanding what is happening, most likely you're gone ahead of being rejected or your visa being refused. So the targeted nature of the Australia's government immigration overhaul announced in December 2023 means that some applicants are much more likely to be approved than others. Now, students now have a higher burden of proof when applying due to measures which includes a higher English language requirement, a compulsory genuine student test aimed at distinguishing and favoring those most likely to: 1. Have the primary purpose of studying rather than working, and 2. Contribute needed skills to the Australian economy. So if you are applying to study just a course that is not adding much value to Australian economy, most likely they're going to refuse your visa. But if you want to increase your chances, you need to look at a course that is adding value, a course that is in high demand. This is what they mean, that your study should add value to the Australian economy. Now, in effect, students pursuing lower levels of credential are those most likely to be refused a visa. International Education Association of Australia CEO Philip Honeymoon explains, the focus has been on widening back a large number of diploma-level vocational students doing courses such as Diploma of Leadership. And instead, the primary focus is on students who can add skills to the Australian economy. So it's good to understand what are some of these, diploma level, courses that might be a high risk. Now let's go to this next article, this one, and this is an extract from the Sydney Morning Herald, and you can see here some colleges blacklist students from entire countries. This article was published on 19 February 2024. Now let's look at this article together. Some Australian colleges are blacklisting students from certain countries, and this is due to the ongoing, government visa crackdown. Now, at least two providers have moved to pause applications from India, Pakistan, and Nigeria, and other countries where students are at risk of visa rejection. So, universities and colleges are given a risk rating, one being the lowest and the three the highest. And this is based on their likelihood of recruiting students for work rather than study. Now, since last year, the government has prioritized visa applications for level 1 providers as a way of weeding out people using the student visa system as a backdoor to the job market. So now what happens is a high rate of visa rejection contributes to a high risk rating. What it means is the university will be ranked as a high risk institution if its applicants receive visa rejection. And so in the move to protect this university rating, because every university wants to be ranked, to receive level 1 ranking, and to have their students not, being subjected to a lot of scrutiny. This is what is happening to an extent that some colleges are blacklisting students from certain countries. Let's look at this article, which will give us more insight of what is happening. You can see here visa rejection rate spike as some institutions withdraw admission offers under new migration settings. So when you come down here, you find that students applying for Australian study visas are facing a sharp uptick in rejection rates under new genuine student test, which the genuine student test was a tool that was introduced uh, by the current government to actually determine who is genuine student and coming to Australia for the purposes of studies, and not using a student visa as and just a way of getting into Australia for work or for immigration, other immigration purposes. Now, when you look at this part, you find more than a third of South Asian students refused. As many as 1 in 5 international students has had their visa application rejected in the last 2 quarters of 2023, rising to more than third of Pakistan and Indian applications, and over a half of Nepalese students. Now, Australia is on track for a steep fall in net migration. As I said, that they're trying to bring the migration back to the levels where it was before COVID. So Australia is on track for a steep fall in net migration after federal officials turned away thousands of overseas students who applied to start courses this month, bringing student visa grant down by 20%, which is the biggest shift in 2 decades. So more than 20% of visa applications are being rejected. So for instance, if 100 students apply for a visa, there is a chance of more than 20 applications will be refused, which is quite a high number. There is also another issue that if you are applying from a lesser prosperous country than Australia, the chances are your visa will be rejected as well. As you can see from what the founder of influential industry noticed, that in all the visa refusals, there was one common a statement which was like consistent in all the refusals, and this is this is what the visa officers will, will write and tell you the reason why they are refusing your application. And you can see there was common, one common, consistent phrase in all their in all the refusals. And this is, I have considered all the information provided with the visa application. Given the comparatively greater economic opportunities in Australia and the applicant's home country, I am not satisfied that the applicant is a genuine applicant for entry and stay as a student in Australia. So this, what it means is, if you are applying from a high risk country, um, countries are divided into risk levels. There is level 1, level 2, and level 3. If you are from level 3, it means that you are at a higher risk of being rejected because of a number of factors. And so what it means that if you seem that where you are coming from, the country is less, is less prosperous, and you might be enticed by there are a lot of opportunities in Australia. Once you come to Australia, they term you as a high risk student, and that can lead to your visa being refused. So this is just a table of showing, how the different countries and how the visa grants has been happening for most of the students. You can see China there is stopping, India, Nepal. When you look at this, this is a letter from the University of Wollongong to one of their successful applicants. So this is one of the institutions that has gone ahead um, to withdraw the confirmation of enrollment to some of the students. Now, concerns about potential visa refusals have reached such a level that at least two universities, like the University of Wollongong and the La Trobe University, have withdrawn confirmations of enrollment to students. The students they feared would not have their visa approved. So these universities, they have fears that some of their successful applicants would not have their visa being approved. It's here, it is put in here, but see what it is saying. Unfortunately, the Australian government has recently implemented substantial changes to its migration strategy. Given those changes, the close commencement of your preferred intake, and the fact that you have not received a visa outcome as yet, the University of Wollongong has determined that you are unlikely to meet the new criteria to obtain a positive visa assessment. And so because of this one, you can see from here, you can read that it is requesting the student to withdraw or to defer the offer. So it's really a sad story, and it's not easy. And so other institutions have, narrowed down their sources of, their source countries, and they are accepting applicants from certain countries. For example, those, some universities are accepting offshore applicants from these countries: Europe, Brazil, Argentina, South Korea, Japan, Canada, USA, United Kingdom, Taiwan, Mexico, Fiji, Papua Guinea, the Papua New Guinea, and so all other applicants, are being, posted from certain universities, not all of them, but from certain universities, just to protect their rating. Now, you've seen that the rate at which the student visa is being rejected in Australia is growing day by day. If you still have your dream of studying in Australia, you'll need to do exactly what is needed to increase your chances of getting the student visa. And so getting your application done very well and exactly understanding what needs to be done and what are some of the areas in which can lead to the visa refusal is key, because when you are doing your application you need to address those key areas. You need to understand, you need to think like an immigration officer. You don't seem to be like desperate to come to Australia or to provide less supporting documents, because without doing that the officer relies exactly on what you give them, and so your outcome will not be different. So in my next video I'll be addressing and giving you some of the tips and the key areas in which you can actually increase your chances of getting a visa and how to make your application strong. So please stay tuned. If you have not subscribed, subscribe and stay tuned, and I'll see you again in my next video.